Hey everyone, welcome to Mountain Beast Mysteries. In today's video, I wanted to talk about what I think is the best piece of Bigfoot footage to ever come out of Canada. Now this video has been around for quite a while, and I talked about it a while ago, probably a couple years ago, and back then I thought it was quite convincing, and to this day I still believe it is one of the best pieces of Bigfoot footage, in my area where I'm from. What we see in the video is a family out on the banks of a river just west of Calgary. And Calgary, Alberta is already pretty close to the mountains. It's not a very long drive to get to Canmore, and beyond Canmore, if you head further west, you get to Banff National Park. And we have lots of Bigfoot activity and Bigfoot reports in those areas, especially in the foothills before you actually get into the mountains. We get a lot of reports of Bigfoot activity and Bigfoot sightings, so it's not at all weird that this footage was shot in that area. It actually, I think, adds to the authenticity a little bit. But west of Calgary, you have the tales of the Lake Minnewanka wild man that go back to like the late 1800s, and throughout the decades after that. So you got a lot of reports, and it's just not an uncommon thing to hear about Sasquatch, where this footage was taken. So it's very interesting. And also, like, this is at a creek or a river, and a lot of people speculate that Sasquatch use creeks and rivers to move. Ken Walker, the taxidermist, he believes that Sasquatch use waterways to get around. I think it's because the running water covers up the sound of them moving, and also there's usually a lot of vegetation and trees and more concealment along a waterway. So it makes sense that they would use waterways to get around. Plus, it's a water source. It's a source for drinking water. But we have a family out at this river, and they're probably just out for the day, hanging out. And there's some kids, and you can hear the father. And they're all aware of what is in the trees there. There's something there, and you can hear the kids saying, that isn't human. That doesn't look human. And you can hear one of the kids say it looked like a deer at first. But when the camera kind of zooms in a little bit on what this thing is, it looks like a reddish brown mass of something kind of just sitting there. And then a few seconds later, whatever it is stands up with its back facing the camera, and you can actually see shoulders, you can see the back, you can see the arms, long arms, you can see the head clearly. And then it begins to walk off away from the camera, and then it makes a left turn and kind of disappears into the brush. Now, the interesting thing about this video is that you can clearly see the arms of this creature, and when it walks away, you can see that the arms are swinging like they should be. A lot of people say that this is probably the rear end of a moose or a bear, but if you look closely at it, and I tried to stabilize the footage here a little bit, you can see that it is definitely not either of those two things. And when the creature turns and kind of disappears to the left behind the trees, you can still kind of make the creature out as it's moving, and you can see, like, if this was a moose or a bear or some kind of animal walking away on four legs, it would be like that side profile would look a lot longer than what it is here. It actually fits. The side profile fits with Sasquatch as well. If it was a moose walking along with the side profile, it would look long, and you don't see that here. Whatever this thing is walking on two legs, and it's massive. It's very bulky, and you can see that it's not a scrawny little chimpanzee looking thing. This is like a big beefy creature, and it looks like what you'd imagine a Sasquatch to look like. You get lots of reports of Sasquatch having reddish brown hair, and this just looks like a big lumbering creature. It's interesting as well if you compare this to the creature in the Patterson footage and also in the Mount St. Helens footage that I recently talked about. This creature behaves in the same way as those two creatures do. It doesn't run away like in fear or anything like that. It remains calm, and almost as if it's just ignoring the people standing there observing it, it just kind of walks off. It doesn't even look at them. It just casually strolls off. And I find that very fascinating. Like, usually any other animal in the wilderness, if you startle it, it'll usually run away. But this thing just stands up and walks away. And, you know, the paddy creature is just walking away. It's walking away fast, but it is just walking. And also, like in the Mount St. Helens footage, the creature just walks away. It doesn't run. I think this is very interesting behavior. It's like they're not scared, or they're trying to just, you know, not draw too much attention as they escape. They just do it calmly and they walk away, and that's that. Like, obviously with most other pieces of Bigfoot footage, like, the clip isn't very long. This would be a situation where if you didn't have the kids and you could find a way across the water, you could go over there and explore that specific spot where the creature was, and you can also get a size reference. You know, you can measure the trees. You can actually get a sense of how big the creature is in real life. But, you know, he's got the kids with him. It's probably a little bit dangerous. They're probably scared. But, like, if me or any of you were out in this spot, we could easily find a way across the river, look for tracks, look for hair samples, and, like, who knows what this creature was even doing. It was just, like, sitting there with its back towards the river, which is strange. And, you know, maybe you could even get a closer look at the thing. If you did go over there, you could follow its tracks, and you could potentially get the best piece of Bigfoot evidence ever captured to this day, the best piece of Bigfoot footage. That's at least what I would try and do. You know, I've been doing this long enough now that if an opportunity like that presents itself to me, I'm going after it. So, I don't know. I had a feeling when I first saw this footage and I watched it that, like, it just felt legitimate to me. The reactions of the people seem legitimate as well. And I do think that they caught one of these things on video. And I haven't seen anything yet to prove that this video is a hoax or that it's fake. Just a bunch of skeptical people who, you know, are already skeptical of the Bigfoot subject in general will come out and say, like, this is obviously a costume or a man in a suit. Like, recently I showed this video clip to someone, and they watched it for 5 seconds, and the first thing they said was, that's probably a guy in a suit. I'm like, how do you know that? Like, you don't know that. You looked at the video clip for 5 seconds, and because you already have it made up in your mind that Bigfoot's not real, that's what you're saying that this is, without even investigating it at all or having a closer look at it and actually examining the video. You know, when you look closely at it in this stabilized footage, you can clearly see something massive with shoulders and arms and a waist and a head. I mean, if this family was able to come up with a costume like this, good for them. Like, that's a really convincing Sasquatch costume. I just don't feel like they would have done that. And finally, we get a piece of Bigfoot footage where the creature isn't just walking from right to left or left to right. It's moving away from the camera first. You're getting multiple angles. Usually in hoax Bigfoot footage, it just moves across the frame. And I think that doesn't make sense to me. This creature moves off into the bushes first and then turns. So it wanted to get away, but it did it in a really calm fashion. I don't know. It looks like a powerful creature to me. It's filmed in an area where there are lots of Sasquatch reports, lots of activity, and it just feels legitimate. So for all you new subscribers who haven't seen this footage, like, this is one of the best pieces of Bigfoot footage out of Canada, for sure. If I can track down the exact area of where this was shot, I will go there. Like, this isn't very far away from where I live. It's about 3 hours away, probably 3 or 4 hours away from where I live. So it's accessible. If I do find that location, I'll go to that bank, you know, and I'll stand in that spot and I'll see, you know, how big this thing actually was. So those are my thoughts on this piece of Bigfoot footage. It's right up there for me with the Patterson footage and the Freeman footage, and the few examples that I think are actually probably legitimate. It just looks that good to me, and it seems genuine, and it seems like it was an actual incident that was captured on film. and it doesn't seem staged. However, with all this stuff, I have to say, like, there's a chance I'm wrong. I'm totally waiting for someone to come out and present evidence that any of this stuff is fake and hoaxed, and I'm willing to accept, that evidence. But as of this point, I think it's probably real. If you want to support Mountain Beast Mysteries, you can do so using the GoFundMe link down in the video description. You can also do so on the main channel page in the top right. There's a button there to go to a PayPal donation link. All of your support helps immensely to keep this channel going. Thanks for watching this video. We'll see you next time on Mountain Beast Mysteries.